Well, hey now. Welcome to Fitz's Electric Bar. Today I'm going to do Richard McCook's 10 final questions. A lot of us in the vinyl community are doing these now. And I noticed they don't seem to get a lot of viewership, but I think that probably it's most enjoyed by those of us who are content creators. And it's a good chance, I think, to both reflect on kind of what matters to me, why I'm doing this. So I'll kind of touch on that a little bit, like what's the purpose for doing these videos. And I think for people who are watching other channels, it's kind of nice to get that same kind of reflection in terms of what matters to them, or in the end, kind of why are we doing this? What's the meaning of life? Not that deep. So, Richard McCook's 10 questions here. I'll put a link to his channel down below. But number one, do you struggle to come up with ideas for videos? No, I've got, and this may sound boastful, but I go for morning walks and just back from one now, and I come up with a ton of ideas. Now, I'm not saying that all of them are really good, but there seems to be no shortage of ideas of things that I'm thinking about doing. The challenge is more around what I'm really in the mood to do at any given point in time. So I could really relate to Lost Mixtapes. I think the gentleman's name is Todd, but you want to be inspired. You want to feel sort of enthusiastic about the topic, not just something that is on your list and you're not really feeling like you want to talk about in that particular day or at that moment. Secondly, want to make it really simple. So you can tell by some of the production values or whatever, if I have to spend a lot of time on setting it up, on doing a lot of research, sometimes I like doing research, but if there's a lot of research or whatever, it tends to be something that gets put off and put off and put off. So some of the ideas that I have are ambitious and require a certain amount of effort. And it's nice to have them there to refer to if I'm in the mood to do that kind of research. But in general, no, I find there are a lot of ideas that I have. The big question really is, are these ideas ones that are of interest to the vinyl community? Which, as a tangent, brings up another kind of sub point to this question, which is the question back, I think, is, do you put together things that you think people are going to enjoy watching versus something that you really want to do, and it may or may not be of great interest to the vinyl community? And that one, to me, is almost a deeper, more interesting question, because there are things that I really love doing, and I realize that it's not so popular. And then other things that maybe I don't enjoy doing as much, but I know they can get a lot more viewers. So if you're doing ranking videos, if you're doing like the best albums of a year or the top 10 artist ranking, sometimes I enjoy that, but sometimes I feel it's just so arbitrary. My mind can be changed one moment to the next, and it's not really always something that I love to do. But if I know that people are going to watch it, quite frankly, I do like the idea of having content that's engaging, just to be, kind of really blatant about it. If I do something and I get 30 or 40 views, and I do another type of video and I get 150 or 200 or more, I like getting 200 views, but at the same time, I want it to be true to what I'm interested in. So that's a long answer to the first question. Would you pay for subscribers? No. I mean, the only kind of hazy line that I would cross is ultimately to put a contest together to try to encourage people to subscribe. I kind of feel like some of those contests, they mark often, milestones, right? Like I've got so many subscribers or I've got whatever. But in a way, it's really I think an aspect of it is to get more subscribers, and whatever it is that you're giving away, albums or whatever, is ultimately you're paying for it. But the idea of actually paying money to have like subscribers kind of like on your account, no, I think almost everybody that's answered these questions would say that you want to earn your viewers honestly. And it's not even just an honest question. You want people to be engaged and feel like, they enjoy what you do. There's just not a number in a box, but nobody's really watching. So I think it's more about engagement than just numbers, and so I wouldn't pay for subscribers. Do I mention how much I pay for a record? Generally, no. I'm not a crate digger. I get the same kind of thrill as a lot of people that if you find something that you just love and it's not that expensive, and you found something that was real special, a record you've been looking for that often goes for a lot more, or whatever, really good value, sure, I might mention it. But I'm not going to mention about the things that I spent a lot of money on. And ultimately, it's not about the money, it's about the music. And I think most of us are saying the same thing. You know, I love having a record that is meaningful to me. And sometimes I pay too much and sometimes I get a good deal on it, but I find it kind of crass to be talking about what it cost. Are there genres of music you hate and won't show on your channels? I don't think there's any genre that I hate, although I'm not too fond of what I would call sort of modern pop music. I will say that if something sounds like it's auto-tuned or it's just, I don't know, a lot of the stuff that comes out now just doesn't speak to me. A lot of the popular sort of stuff that you might hear on the radio or that the kids might play. But at the same time, I love a lot of new music. The genres that I probably am least interested in would be classical. I've got a slight interest in classical. I don't know much about it. And unless it was a record, like a performance that really, really moved me, I don't think I would generally talk about classical. But I think almost everything else is on the table. I like electronic, I like country, I like bluegrass, I like folk, I like singer-songwriter. Well, another genre probably I wouldn't really show would be metal. I know a lot of people are really into metal, and I like classic rock, but for the most part, it's just not something that really interests me much anymore. I think it's kind of interesting just the progression, to have an arc or a progression as a music fan. And it's not that you need to reject everything from your past, but I'm not listening to a ton of punk now. Every once in a while I do, but I'm not an angry young man anymore. Sometimes I'm angry, but it's more curmudgeonly rather than the kind of anger that I had when I was listening to, I don't know, oi bands or even the Clash or some of the early punk stuff that I used to love. So I started to develop an interest in jazz. The more I got to know about it, the more I was able to find stuff that kind of really resonated for me. I really enjoy that and continue to enjoy that. And I'm starting to really explore Brazilian music. I mean, I'm just dipping my toe in now, but I'm finding some really, really nice Brazilian music and I love it. And it's got, I think, a level of sophistication, but I'm not buying it or listening to it because it's sophisticated. I'm just buying it because I love listening to it. And the more I'm hearing it, the more I'm enjoying it, the more I listen, the more I can appreciate the genre, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think there's anything that I would say that I hate, but probably metal would be the closest to being something that I'm just not interested in more than hate. And you won't see me put anything up online about that, obviously. I prefer to think of, there's so much stuff that I like, and I love the vinyl community for finding new content that and new music, or not new, but new to me music that really interests me. And so it's more about the like versus the hate. When you go through people's videos, do you scroll ahead to get an artist that I like? Not really. This has been mentioned. I think a lot of the answers are very consistent from those of us who are doing this kind of stuff. I tend to go to a station because I kind of feel like I like the personality or the person. I like their taste in music. I like their kind of take on things. I like their perspective. I like their sense of humor. And it's really about the person who is presenting it that I'm drawn to. And so if they're mentioning something that they really like, if they're talking about it in a way that I find interesting, and most likely I will because I like how they present their information, I'm not going to fast forward. I'm not just looking for stuff that I like. I'm actually really hoping to find stuff that I don't know that I will like and go off and explore it. We have a great opportunity with streaming platforms where, when I listen to Vinyl Richie or I listen to Mazzy or I listen to, Lost Mixtapes or a few others, I'm very quickly building a streaming playlist and checking that music out because I want to see what it is that they like. And if they've described it in a way that's compelling, I want to check it out and hopefully get turned on to new music. And I've gotten turned on to a lot of good stuff through Vinyl Community, which has been a really great part of this, not just me creating content. Is there anything about your videos that you don't like? Yeah, I recognize that I don't have great production values. I've joked about that a few times before. I don't like the fact that I look older than I wish I did. But you know, it's just the way it is. And there are a few things that I'd like to address, maybe tighten things up a bit. And I tend to go on a little bit. And I apologize for that because I know some people, that's what they don't like about these videos, is going on and on. But yeah, it's okay. Is there anything about other people's videos that you don't like? I don't really focus on that because ultimately, if I don't really like what somebody's doing in another video, I just stop listening to their videos. Then, you know, ultimately what I'm finding is I subscribe to many channels. There's certain ones that I just really love, and I really look forward to when they do a post. So again, for me, MGK Boston, Lost Mixtapes, Mazzy, Vinyl Richie, I really enjoy the Jazz Bums. I like the Waxed. There are a whole bunch more that I enjoy, but those are ones that when there's a new video, oh yeah, and In Groove, Mike, that's quite a lot of content to watch. And so when I see there's a new video up, I quickly check. If it seems to be content that I'm not that interested in, then I move on. But there isn't much that I don't like. I just take it as it is. If I'm not finding that I'm really enjoying it, I just move on. So. Number 8, would I ever make an announcement if I decide to stop making videos? I don't know, because I could see thinking, well, I'm not going to do anymore, and then say I'm not going to do anymore, and then a few weeks later decide, ooh, I really want to do this one. This would be a really good piece of content, or I want to talk about this record. So I don't really see myself stopping. The thing that's more likely, or at least planning to stop, what's more likely to happen is a period of time will pass, and after a while I kind of go, I'm just not sure I really have the enthusiasm or energy to be doing it. In which case there's really no announcement needs to be made. So it's basically, I think what I'm saying is that I'd probably go out with a whimper rather than a bang and wouldn't make a big pronouncement. And if I do stop making videos and I stopped, would I make them private or shut down the channel? No, I think I'd keep them up. I think it's interesting because I think sometimes something happens, in particular, sadly, when somebody passes away and there's a video that you've done and it shows up in people's threads or whatever, and people enjoy watching that. But also, I've put in time and effort, and it's kind of fun to know that it's all there. And there's no reason for me to kind of hide this from the public. I don't think it's going to be important enough for anybody to care one way or the other. I don't know, for me, most of the time, I don't go back much and watch old videos. I tend to watch them, and if I missed it or if I catch onto a new channel, I generally will go from that point, and occasionally I'll go back and check one that looks like a compelling or interesting topic. But mostly it's from the point that I discover them, I start to kind of go forward with it. So anyways, I don't think I would go private or remove them or shut down the channel. I just leave it there, and kind of fun thing to look at many years ago. Back to the earlier point about something I don't like about my channel is just, looking older, is one thing for sure is that in 10 or 15 years when I look at this video, I'll think, oh, he looked a lot younger then. So anyways, carpe diem, motherfuckers, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.